You didn't have to do it. You didn't have to, but you did. And I just want to say thank you. You didn't have to wake me this morning. Didn't have to give me one more day. Didn't have to put food on my table or listen every time I pray. You didn't have to keep on loving me through every lesson I had to learn. But every time I wandered from you, your love was waiting when I returned. I don't know why you love me like you do, but I'm so grateful that you do. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. You didn't have to love me, but you never turned away. You didn't owe me mercy. You didn't owe me grace. But morning after morning, you keep showing me your face. You didn't have to do it, oh Lord, but I'm so glad you did. You didn't have to hear my crying in those midnight hours alone. Didn't have to send me comfort when I couldn't make it on my own. You didn't have to give me another chance after chances I'd already spent. Didn't have to keep your arms around me when I didn't deserve one bit of it. The older I get, the more I see how good you've really been to me. You didn't have to do it, but you did it anyway. You didn't have to love me, but you never turned away. You didn't owe me mercy. You didn't owe me grace. But morning after morning, you keep showing me your face. You didn't have to do it, oh Lord, but I'm so glad you did. Some prayers you answered with a yes, some you answered with a no. Some answers took a little longer, 'cause there were things I had to know. And now I thank you for the waiting. I even thank you for the pain, because somewhere along the journey I learned to trust you all the same. For the doors you opened, thank you. For the doors you closed, thank you. For the things you gave me, thank you. For the things you wouldn't let me have, Lord, I thank you. For protecting me from things I couldn't see, for loving me enough to tell me no. For every time I thought you weren't there, but you were carrying me. Thank you. You didn't have to, but you did. Ooh. You didn't have to, but you did. Ooh. You loved me, you forgave me, you stayed right there. Ooh. You didn't have to, but you did. And if you never do another thing for me, you've